You know something funny? When we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win. I said, why not? He's talking about, he like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh.
The controversy over Tank's majority draw against Lamont Roach Jr. is getting more intense every day, and it's quickly becoming one of the biggest scandals in boxing this year. What should have been a simple fight result has now sparked a heated discussion about corruption, favoritism, and whether Tank Davis was given special protection from outside influences.
Whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, oh, that, you know, he should be disqualified, he went back to the corner, I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation.
Fans are still shocked by what happened in the 9th round. Referee Steve Willis didn't call it a knockdown, despite what seemed clear to many. He hesitated, started a count, then stopped himself, leaving everyone puzzled about what they had just seen. That moment changed the entire vibe of the fight. Now, there are rumors that Willis may have been pressured, or even bribed, to prevent Davis from losing his belt.
If you take the knee in the 90s, or in 2000, you're taking a point off. That's the bottom line. You're taking a point off. I don't know what happened.
The fight itself was already full of surprises. Roach, a huge underdog, stepped into the ring with nothing to lose and everything to prove, facing off against the power and aggression of Gervonta Davis. Most people didn't think he'd last 12 rounds, let alone push the champion to the limit, but that's exactly what he did. From the start, Roach made it clear he wasn't just there to be another name on Tank's highlight reel. He was smart, disciplined, and fearless, dodging Davis's big punches and landing sharp, accurate counters. As the rounds went on, it became obvious that this wasn't going to be an easy fight for Davis. For the first time in a long while, the Baltimore fighter seemed frustrated. His usual flow wasn't there, and Roach wasn't giving him the openings he needed. Then came the 9th round, the moment that changed everything.
I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call the knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost.
Roach landed a punch that clearly rocked Davis, causing him to drop to a knee. The crowd immediately reacted, expecting the referee to count it as a knockdown. But Steve Willis, known for his lively reactions in the ring, did something completely unexpected. He hesitated. For a brief moment, it seemed like he was about to start a count, but then he stopped. Instead of calling it a knockdown, he waved it off as if nothing happened. The commentators were shocked, the fans were left in confusion, and social media exploded with people demanding answers. How could this not be a knockdown? The replay made it clear, Davis took a knee after being hit clean. Yet, Willis acted as though it never occurred. The scorecards at the end of the fight reflected the controversy, with Davis escaping with a majority draw instead of what many felt should have been a loss.
Not being in big names, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knocking him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw, you know.
Now, new details are starting to emerge. Allegations are surfacing that Willis was offered a $2 million bribe to protect Davis. At first, it sounded like nothing more than conspiracy theories from upset fans. But soon, boxing insiders began whispering the same thing. Some even claimed that people close to Davis's camp had contacted the referee before the fight, which might explain why Tank seemed so confident, even telling Lamont Roach that no matter what he did, he wasn't going to win. Others pointed out that Willis's hesitation in the 9th round didn't look like a simple mistake. It seemed like he was second-guessing himself, knowing he couldn't make the wrong call. If these allegations are true, it would be one of the most blatant cases of corruption in boxing in years.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on...
Things took a turn for the worse when the World Boxing Association, WBA, quickly came to Willis's defense. In a move that only made the situation worse, the WBA published an article on their official website insisting that Willis's decision was justified. The article claimed, from our perspective, Willis's decision was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. No knockdown should have been recorded. That statement sparked outrage. It seemed like the WBA was trying to shut down the controversy before it could grow any bigger. But the backlash was immediate. Fans weren't buying it. Boxing analysts called it absurd, and former fighters openly criticized the WBA for seemingly protecting Davis. Within hours, the article was getting ripped apart on social media, and the pressure on the WBA only intensified.
It was a close fight. I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. He did a good job. He fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
out.
Every night in boxing is not your best.
The pressure became so overwhelming that WBA President Gilberto Mendoza was forced to take down the article and issue a public apology. But even his apology raised more questions. Mendoza sent a direct message to Lamont Roach Jr. on X, saying, "Champ, as president of the WBA, I must apologize for the opinion of a collaborator of the website. We believed in you since day one. We knew you would have a marvelous performance and feel proud of you as champion." That wording immediately raised suspicions. If this was just the opinion of a random collaborator, why was it published on the WBA's official site? And why did the WBA defend Willis so quickly? Mendoza also reached out to Roach's father, who is his manager and trainer, with a similar message, but by then, the damage was done. For many, this looked like an attempted cover-up. The WBA got caught trying to protect Davis, and when they realized the backlash was too much, they scrambled to distance themselves from it. At this point, all eyes were on Gervonta Davis. With bribery accusations swirling, people were eager to hear his side of the story. When Tank finally spoke out, he didn't deny anything, but he also didn't admit to anything. Instead, he responded to the critics by saying, "I don't know anything about that, but look, they've been hating on me since day one. Y'all acting like I ain't never had to fight for my respect. They just mad, cause I ain't lose my belt." Davis also said he had no problem giving Roach a rematch, stating, "If they want a rematch, we can run it back. I ain't ducking nobody." But if that's the case, why hasn't a rematch been announced yet? Some believe Davis's camp is stalling because they know Roach is a real threat.
I'm not sure, bro. But hopefully we could get more. It'll probably won't be this year.
Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, is now being dragged into the controversy. They were supposed to use instant replay during the fight, but for some reason, it never happened. Their official explanation? Technical issues. That excuse has only fueled more suspicion. What kind of technical issue just happens to occur right when instant replay could have changed the outcome of a major title fight? Some fans are demanding a full investigation, and there are even rumors that Roach's team is considering legal action to challenge the result. If that happens, things could get even messier.
How do you assess his power after being in there for 12?
He got decent power. He got decent power for sure. I ain't gonna say it's exaggerated. I told you I got a 10. I ain't going like that.
With all the controversy surrounding the fight, the pressure for a rematch is growing stronger every day. Even Mendoza has acknowledged that the WBA is now considering pushing for a second fight, saying, "I have asked the WBA committee to follow up on Lamont Roach Jr.'s direct rematch case closely. However, we believe the parties, as expressed in the post-fight interview, will amicably agree to run it again." But many aren't convinced. The WBA has already shown where its loyalties lie, and some believe they'll do whatever it takes to make sure Davis doesn't lose. Even if a rematch does happen, what's stopping the same shady politics from getting in the way again?
That people want to discredit thing is he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night in there with Bruce.
While Canelo Alvarez is focused on his upcoming fight in May against William Skull, the biggest match on his calendar, that hasn't stopped him from weighing in on the biggest controversy in boxing right now. Known for speaking his mind, the Mexican superstar didn't hold back when talking about the 9th round of the fight, where Davis took a knee after getting hit cleanly by Roach. In an interview on Hot 97's Ebro in the Morning Canelo made it clear that, by the rules, Roach should have won the round 10-8. He also pointed out that Davis's corner stepping into the ring mid-round should have resulted in an automatic disqualification. He took a knee. He needs to lose like 10-8 that round at least. And plus, the corner goes up and puts a towel in his face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business, Canelo said.
and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus, the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
While Canelo kept his comments brief, his words carried a lot of weight. This wasn't just any fighter speaking. This was the undisputed super middleweight champion, a global boxing icon, pointing out how the rules were overlooked in favor of Davis. As the backlash continues to build, it's becoming harder to ignore how deep this controversy really goes. The New York State Athletic Commission is still investigating, and their findings could have a major impact on the lightweight division. Veteran boxing writer Dan Raphael didn't hold back when discussing the case on *Pro Box TV*, saying, "If they do one thing, Lamont Roach wins the fight." He continued, "That bad night by Willis cost Lamont Roach a championship. It deprived him of being the one to hand America's top fighter his first loss. A lot of things went wrong, and it was all against Lamont Roach."
If that was kind of a knockdown, I would win a majority decision. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that, but the rules do state if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic A.
Regulators across the country are now watching closely as WBA chairman Matthew Dalio faces growing pressure to make a decision. The problem is, this ruling isn't straightforward. If Dalio chooses to change the result, Davis could lose his WBA lightweight belt and suffer his first official loss. However, some argue it wouldn't be fair to overturn the fight without giving Davis a chance to respond in the ring. One of the biggest issues is that referee Steve Willis not only failed to call a knockdown, but also allowed Davis's corner to interfere mid-round. If the fight had been called fairly, Roach would have had a significant advantage going into the final rounds. Instead, Davis was given time to recover, having his face wiped and re-entering the fight as if nothing had happened. The real question now is whether this was just a mistake or something more.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw the negativity and kept critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top dog.
Former referee Jack Rice made an important point on *Pro Box TV*, emphasizing that while referees do have some discretion, fighters aren't allowed to call their own timeouts. "You cannot call your own timeout," he said. Former world champion Pauli Malignaggi quickly responded, calling out the double standard at play. Adding to the outrage, it was revealed that instant replay was available but never used. This means the commission had the option to correct the mistake in real time but chose not to. That detail is fueling the belief that Davis may have received special treatment. This is why *Pro Box TV* founder Gary Jonas, who advises Roach, has officially appealed the decision, asking that Roach be declared the winner. Trainer Stephen Breman Edwards summed up the frustration perfectly, saying, "People make mistakes, but this always seems to favor the other side. That's the heart of the issue. If this were any other fighter, if this were Roach taking a knee, walking to his corner mid-round, and getting an unofficial timeout, would the referee have ignored it? Most believe the answer is no.
And y'all gotta chill out with all of this Loma's beating Tank, and like, you dudes is crazy, man. Tank is knocking out Loma, man. Get out of here with that shit.
Couldn't knock out Roach.
Yo.
Couldn't knock out Roach.
I think Roach knocks out Loma.
The solution being pushed by many in the boxing world is an immediate rematch at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, where the controversy first unfolded. But for some, a rematch isn't enough. There are growing calls for disciplinary action against referee Steve Willis, for the New York Commission to change the official result, and even for Davis to be stripped of his title. One of Davis's biggest rivals, Ryan Garcia, has also weighed in. Garcia, who fought Davis last April and lost by knockout, has had a lot to say about the result. And surprisingly, this time, he's siding with Roach. "If that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach the victory, give him the victory," Garcia said. "That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport."
That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it, because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Well, they said
and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank.
Garcia's comment is a direct jab at boxing's double standards. He was suspended after testing positive for a banned substance following his fight with Devin Haney, a ruling many felt was too harsh. Now, he's calling out the hypocrisy. If the sport claims to be about fairness, why isn't it applying the same strict rules to Davis? The controversy surrounding Davis versus Roach is no longer just about one fight, it's about the integrity of boxing itself. If a referee can blatantly ignore a knockdown, allow a corner to intervene mid-round, and still let the favored fighter walk away with his belt, what does that say about the sport?
Did Gervonta Tank Davis have an off night? Probably. Did he have grease in his eye? Probably. Put the grease on. And did Lamont Roach win the fight? Yes. Let's look at the
The NYSAC is expected to make a ruling soon, and the outcome could have huge consequences. If they stand by the original decision, boxing fans will likely lose even more faith in the system. On the other hand, if they overturn it, Davis's reputation will take a hit, and the lightweight division could be thrown into chaos. One thing is clear, this situation isn't going away anytime soon. With fighters like Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, and even Teofimo Lopez speaking out, the pressure is only growing. And with the lightweight division already filled with tension between Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Vasyl Lomachenko, this controversy could be the spark that leads to a major shakeup in the sport.
You lost that unanimously.
I went Mace, I think he lost the fight. That referee has a lot of experience. For you not to call that knee a knockdown is crazy.
As the controversy continues to unfold, another heated debate is taking over the boxing world. Who would win if Davis and Shakur Stevenson finally stepped into the ring? With both fighters holding a piece of the lightweight world title, this is the fight everyone is talking about. And the latest performances from both men have only added more fuel to the fire. Davis, despite holding on to his WBA belt, is now facing an investigation that could change the result of his fight against Roach. That alone has made his next move uncertain. If the New York State Athletic Commission decides to overturn the decision, Davis might be forced into a rematch or even stripped of his title, which could throw off his plans for a huge showdown with Stevenson. On top of that, whispers of corruption, a possible bribe, and referee Steve Willis's questionable actions in the 9th round have cast a shadow over Davis's reputation. Many now wonder, is Davis truly unbeatable, or is he just being protected?
Well, you still have rounds to go. He was good at round. He was good. We just couldn't figure out why he couldn't pick it up. Right. And so I think it was maybe a lack of focus, just for a little bit, and we'll fix that.
On the other hand, Stevenson may have won his last fight, but it wasn't the dominant performance fans were expecting. He faced late replacement Josh Padley after Floyd Schofield pulled out due to illness. While Stevenson secured a 9th round stoppage, many weren't impressed. The general consensus was that he should have taken care of Padley much earlier. Considering Stevenson's reputation as one of the most skilled defensive boxers in the sport, his inability to finish a lesser opponent quickly raised some concerns. Some critics even questioned whether he has the power to keep someone like Davis off of him.
You can run over. You can't do that in boxing. Anything can happen. You can have a great night, believe it. You got to believe in your soul, and I think the kid was in there with his soul tonight. It was a good fight, don't get me wrong. And, to me, it could have went either way.
Now, with both men coming off less than stellar performances, boxing fans are more divided than ever on who would win if they fought. Two-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez, who has exchanged plenty of words with both fighters in the past, recently weighed in on the debate. Made it clear that despite Davis's struggles against Roach, he still sees Davis beating Stevenson. I still think Gervonta will win against Shakur, technically. I just think like that, Lopez said confidently. This opinion isn't too surprising, considering Lopez's history with Stevenson.
Do you still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Lamont Roach, but do you feel like you guys can fight 2025 or 2026?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't into chasing people around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen.
The two have exchanged words before, and Lopez has never been shy about questioning Stevenson's ability to handle elite pressure fighters. Still, his prediction carries weight. As a former unified lightweight champion and the current WBO super lightweight champion, Lopez knows what it takes to succeed at the highest level. His belief that Davis would get the job done against Stevenson speaks volumes, but Lopez isn't the only one making predictions. Veteran trainer Robert Garcia also weighed in on the possible matchup, offering a different perspective. Garcia acknowledged Davis's power but pointed out that Stevenson's defense and ring IQ make him a tough matchup for almost anyone. Garcia believes that if Stevenson fights smart and avoids getting caught by Davis's knockout punches, he could outbox him over 12 rounds.
I'm not even going to shit on her, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about this decision?
I ain't going to shit on him.
Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we going to fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I told him I won.
You told him I won.